Welcome to Deep Thought, the Metaphysics of R. Kelly. Now, let me make something clear from the get-go. This ain't specifically about R. Kelly, but rather an archetype that he represents that's not really talked about too much in society. Because I looked at a couple of episodes and I saw something that I don't talk about much publicly, right? But some people who might have studied holistic sexuality, in fact, it's known among a very, very small group of people, right? And maybe some older metaphysicians and stuff might be aware of it, right? But the key to understanding R. Kelly is that, you know, everybody is trying, you have a lot of people trying to frame it like he used his position and his fame to, you know, do what he allegedly did to, like, these women. I'm going to use the word allegedly because until it's proven in a court of law, it's still allegedly, right? The word alleged has to be used. But anyway, right? A lot of people will say, well, yeah, you know, he had that position and all of that. No, that wasn't the key to it. I would submit to you this. A person with, like, R. Kelly would have still had all those women if he worked at a Walmart as a stalker or whatever. You know, he could just be the one that come in and like replenish the shelves or something. He still would have got those women. He could have worked at a gas station and still got his women because there's something bigger going on. And in fact, a metaphysician, they talked about it in a book a while ago. I can't recall the book, but they mentioned R. Kelly, and this book was written by in the 90s, and it talked about his mojo, his energy, right? Now, where's the metaphysics in this? Sexual magnetism was seen as a psychic gift, especially in the early part of the 20th century. Indeed, it was actually mentioned in a book by, I forgot the name, but it was one of those old books written in the 20s, right? And me and another gentleman who read the book suspected it might have been Napoleon Hill who wrote the book. I think, Quentin Thurman? I can't remember the name. Began with a Q or something. And we suspected, just because of the writing style, it might have been Napoleon Hill who actually wrote the book, just because of the writing style. I mean, it might not have been. Maybe that was just a general style they used back then or something. We don't know. But it talked about sexual magnetism, and it listed it as a psychic gift, and even talked a little bit about how to develop it. And even now you have some people who, you know, talk about it. You might be able to find some videos or some stuff on the internet about how to develop sexual magnetism. But in this book, particular metaphysical book, it was considered a great gift, right? It was considered a great gift. In fact, a psychic gift. In fact, there was another book. It was written about African-American psychics and seers and visionaries. And it didn't have anything about sexual magnetism in it, but you know, the woman who wrote it specifically mentioned that she didn't want to like cover that because then she would be talking to a lot of ministers and stuff, right? But it's a real thing. It's a real thing, and it's a spiritual thing, right? In fact, it's something that many cult leaders will have. You know, you can't figure out why are these people following this guy, right? Because it's an energy that has an effect on all that come in contact with it. Now, some people can kind of resist the energy, right? But a lot of people can't. And, you know, that's how these cult leaders are able to control a whole bunch of people. You know, it's not that the people are weak or anything. It's the energy. It's a sexual energy. That's why, like, with a lot of cult leaders or, like, fringe groups, there's always a sexual dynamic. You know, it might be a situation where the guy slept with all the women or something. Right? It's always a sexual dynamic, but it isn't It isn't like something they're saying, it's the energy. Like a lot of men out here, especially women have the energy too, though. But a lot of people who have that energy, there will be a strong tendency to, they have a high sex drive, right? And because of sexual energy, they will have some influence over a person, almost a coercive ability, because it's the sexual energy that will put, like if somebody's hit with that type of energy, they're very open to suggestion because they automatically relax, especially a man with that energy who hits a woman with it. She'll automatically she becomes receptive just from the energy. He hasn't opened his mouth. So if he says to her, "Hey, let me pee on you" or something, she's open to it. Like I said, it's not going to hit everybody the same way. Somebody could get hit with the energy and they just feel like they'll want something, but they'll have enough of a will to resist it. But really, it's hard. It's hard, and it's rare. It's rare. And as far as I know, I don't know how to. I don't know if it can be like cultivated in people, because it could be like other gifts of the spirit, where you just have to have the right bloodline. And in fact, like I said, it's not talked about as much, but there was a movie a while ago called Eve's Bayou. And it had Samuel L. Jackson in it and Debbie Morgan in it. And the women, it was in this particular family. It had a young Megan Good in it. And the women in, I forgot this other sister's name, but she was the woman in Tyler Perry's Temptation. I can't think of her name right this second. And they were all in it, and like all the women had like gifts and everything, like they could read people. But what was kind of, it was they shown it in the movie, but they didn't really specifically addressed it. Samuel Jackson, he was the brother of these women, right? And he was a doctor, but he had a strong sexual charisma, right? But a lot of people might not pick up on it. Also, too, the psychic side of that sexual magnetism, it was explored with the character in this. It was a show about people with psychic gifts called The Others on NBC TV a while ago. It only lasted a few shows, and I ain't gonna lie, there was at least one episode gave me a nightmare afterwards. That's how deep it was. I'm not gonna lie, because it was really deep. It might have been too soon for TV, but one of the characters, you had all these characters that could do all this wonderful psychic stuff and telepathic whatever, and you couldn't even see what this one guy's thing is, but you saw how the women were interacting with him. But that's actually a real gift. That's a real gift. And like I said, you got a few people who have that. Like if you can't figure out their sex appeal, right, that's usually it. But part of the thing is, it is more sexual in nature. But if anybody really know about gifts of the spirit, there's a very strong sexual connection to someone having those gifts. Even if they try to repress the sexual part, there's usually a strong sexual component, right? That's why if you look at, if you look at shaman, if you look at their dances and how they do things, it's a strong sexual component, right? So, when I look at the R. Kelly thing, I'm just like, it's too bad Western science ain't recognizing what's really there. I mean, he's almost on some X-Men thing. I mean, that's a gift. Like I said, if he wasn't a singer, he was just a regular dude, the same shit would have happened. Only difference was he'd probably be sitting in jail or something because, he wasn't R. Kelly. And in fact, that's probably what's keeping him, that energy is keeping him out of it, because it makes people, if someone has that energy and they, like I said, it makes people very receptive, because it is a sexual type of energy, and it does relax people. Like women are going to be aroused by it, and men will generally find the guy cool. Heterosexual men will generally they'll be like kind of calm, like, damn, this a cool dude right here and stuff. All right. But it's that energy thing, and it's a metaphysical thing. Now, let me be clear, because sometimes people hear stuff and they'll say, oh, you're not going in on R. Kelly or something, or you're making excuses. No, not at all. I mean, with anything, any gift, it could be light side or dark side. I've known of psychically gifted women who would use their gifts in for criminal enterprises and stuff, you know. But it is there, is there, and maybe sometimes there's so many things that isn't explained by static Western science, but they still exist. It still happens, so it's something that people really need to look into, and because quite frankly, regardless of what happens with R. Kelly himself, this is going to happen again and again. Because you're still going to have those individuals, men and women, with that type of energy. I mean, the best thing you can hope for, they use it for good. And really, technically, and it would be getting into another conversation, they really are supposed to use it to heal. But, we live in that society where someone come in with a gift, but the society says something else. And, someone with those gifts that R. Kelly has, the singing, all of that, which is healing, he's actually supposed to heal women with that. But, that gets into some deeper stuff. So anyway, that's all I got for now. Just keep rising and transforming. Peace.